Hi everyone, Mr. H here. This is part 1 of chapter 1.6, Growth and Evolution. In this video, we will discuss the concepts of economies and diseconomies of scale, and we will also explain the benefits of being a small or a big business. So let's get started. Becoming bigger, growing as a business, either in sales or scale or size, is a dream for most businesses. However, how to achieve that growth implies a number of considerations. For example, in terms of efficiency, the efficiency of your business can be measured in terms of cost, in terms of how much money you are spending. The idea is, of course, trying to spend the least while keeping good quality and the constant growth. Even though we're going to discuss cost at a later chapter, we're just going to show very quickly how we determine costs in a business. The total cost of a business is made up of the fixed cost, the money you pay or spend every single month the same, like rent or salaries, and variable costs, the money you spend, for example, in raw materials, which would of course depend on how much production you have and how much you produce every month. So it will be variable costs. I mean, you produce 100 cookies this month, it will be certain amount of money. If you produce next month 80 or 120, then you will be spending more or less. So those are variable costs. The total cost is important to determine the average cost or the total cost per unit in order to tell exactly how much money you're spending per cookie, per chocolate, per brownie, per pizza. Okay, so in order to tell exactly how much you're spending, you need to have the total cost and divide it by the quantity of services provided or goods produced. That's how you get that cost. Why is this concept important? Well, when you grow as a business, when you grow your scale of operations, either in size or in production, you can at some point, okay, eventually start spending less money. Because, for example, you can buy in bulks, you can buy in larger quantities of raw materials, and buying in larger quantities usually means paying less prices for those, and you are reducing, therefore, the cost of your production. So, at some point, growing as a business would lead you to a lower cost per unit. Okay? When you grow, when you achieve this condition, when you are growing, when you become bigger, while keeping low costs, you are achieving economies of scale. This is a concept. So economies of scale is this condition when the scale of operations increase or grow while keeping lower cost per unit. Okay, so if you can lower your cost while growing, that's the dream. You are achieving economies of scale. But on the other side, if the scale of operation grows, okay, you open new shops, you increase the size of your factory, you produce more than before, you invest on new equipment that produces larger quantities of your product, but that turns into spending more money. The cost of keep your business running, the cost of making your product becomes more expensive instead of lower, then you are in diseconomies of scale, which is the opposite. Okay, so diseconomies of scale is you are growing, but also you are becoming more expensive to survive. Okay, surviving is becoming more expensive. So the dream is obviously getting economies of scale. Now, we can also show this into a chart that explains in a visual way what they are. Again, this is the production and this is the cost. And if you can start producing more and start lowering the costs because you're buying in larger quantities or doing specific investments that can lead you to less costs, then you are achieving economies of scale. But at some point, if everything starts getting more and more expensive to keep the business running and to make the product available or real, then you are into these economies of scale. Okay. The idea is finding the balance, finding the balance in your business in terms of efficiency, in terms of costs, so you can keep growing while keeping the costs low. In order to achieve that position, you have some specific efficiencies to apply in your business, economies to apply in specific areas or factors of your business. And there are some inefficiencies you have to avoid in order to stay away from these economies. So let's take a look at them. Which efficiencies can lead us to economies of scale? For example, we have some internal efficiencies and external efficiencies. In the internals, we can consider, for example, technical economies of scale or technical efficiencies. For example, by having more units of production, by producing more, you might be decreasing the cost of production. Okay, by investing in equipment that would produce more at a faster rate, at a lower cost or energy consumption, at a more efficiently than before, that would lead you to economies of scale. So technical efficiencies would allow you to reach economies. Managerial economies imply specialization. This means if you are having a specialized personnel that would do specifically what they are required, would turn your production process more efficiently. Therefore, it will be faster, it will be better, it will be higher quality, it will be less costly too. So that's another way. Financial economies refer to the idea of investing in a wise way, okay, investing wisely and not trying to invest so risky. So that means that you are investing or getting bank loans that you can actually control or pay back easily, and not getting into high investments that would end up becoming long debts that would become more expensive. Marketing efficiencies or marketing economies of scale refer to doing marketing effectively by doing a proper marketing campaign, a proper marketing design, a proper product design that would be low cost, again, but effective, considering the market, considering your consumers. This would also lead to economies of scale. Purchasing economies or purchasing efficiencies are referred to bulk buying more specifically. I mean, as I said before, if you buy in bulk, if you buy in larger quantities, this would be less expensive than buying one by one or piece by piece or smaller quantities. So this would end up becoming spending less money for producing more. And finally, risk bearing refers to the idea of having a wide variety of products, okay, a wide product mix that would allow you to, if one or two of these products starts failing in the business in the market, you have that other range of products that would allow you to stay up as a business and stay profitable. So risk bearing is a concept that means that you are having a wide range of products that would allow you to stay active and stay visible in different ways. Even though one or two of these products might fail, you still have the others that will keep you there. So that's another important concept here that will lead you to economies of scale. Then you have some external factors, like, for example, consumers. Larger shops, larger malls, larger places would allow more consumers to get into your business, which turns into more sales, which turns into more profit. Okay, so that's another benefit that leads to economies of scale. And also, if you have a business in a specific region where there is a lot of people that is skilled for the type of business or the type of products or service you are providing, that is called labor concentration. And being in a place where there's labor concentration allows you to have more access to employees, and also this will lead to more efficiency, therefore, again, economies of scale. The inefficiencies are actually very similar when you take a look at them. Why? Because doing more or less efficiently of any of these factors would again lead you to these economies of scale. So the idea here is finding the balance, finding the proper measure of each of these factors to make sure you achieve economies. But for example, producing too much or investing in too big equipment that would actually become more expensive to keep would end up in diseconomies. Having too specialized people that would not give space for any chances of growth or diversification would lead again to diseconomies. The wrong investments, investing too much, getting too much in debt would also lead to diseconomies. A wrong marketing campaign with poor research would also lead to diseconomies. Purchasing too much of your raw materials that it would expire later and you would have to then throw away because you didn't use it, or producing too much you're never selling then, and that would end up expiring, also leads to diseconomies. And also risk bearing, having a wide variety of products that are not effective or are not the best for your consumers or not the things your consumer wants will also lead to diseconomies. So again, the idea of growth is about choosing wisely, keep the balance, while focusing on these factors that would end up leading to economies of scale. So this is it. Just a couple minutes to discuss what's good about big or small businesses. Being big is nice. I mean, there are a number of benefits of being a big business. There are economies of scale, as we just explained before. There's also an increased market share. I mean, you have more market, more consumers, and therefore you have a greater market control because you're the big one. You have a higher status, you are very well known, and this means that even your employees will be motivated to work at your business because, I mean, it's a thing of image. You are working for a big business. Then there's also brand recognition. Everybody knows your brand, and this can also means that you can also influence consumers. Okay, you can kind of influence the market with your brand. And then when you're a bigger business, you have also greater access to sources of finance. I mean, banks and investors will be interested in you. They will call you, they will look for you because you're a big business with larger capitals. They would like to invest in a big, successful business. However, being a small business is not bad at all. There are a number of benefits of being a small business too. For example, there's cost control. Since you are managing medium-sized or smaller capitals, you can actually have more control of how you spend your money, and you can actually focus on those specific aspects that are profitable for your business in terms of how you use your money. So you have a greater control on your money. There's also a greater sense of community and closeness at work. Since you are closer to the workers are closer because the business is smaller. Then this motivates people and brings a sense of family, a sense of community that would end up, it would turn into more efficiency, better work, more quality, also economies of scale in the long run. So that's not that possible, for example, in a big business. You can actually develop a sense of community in specific departments or areas, but it's harder to build a sense of community when big businesses become very big. Also, you can customize your service or your product. There's a lot of flexibility when you are a small business because you are closer to your consumers. Therefore, you can listen to their concerns or their interests more easily than a bigger business, and you can customize your product. And if you are producing one specific thing that nobody else is producing, or few people or few businesses are producing, you can actually have some higher prices due to exclusiveness. On that same line, if you are in a specific market niche and if you are selling to one specific market space that is small, okay, you will have less competition. I mean, if you are the only bakery in your neighborhood, if you are the only restaurant in your neighborhood, then you have no competition or less competition, and that would also mean that you will become more successful as a small business too. So there are good things about small businesses to consider too, and not to forget. And there are other nice things about big businesses that you also have to consider. This would be it for this part one of this chapter 1.6. In the following chapter, we're going to talk about the different methods of growth and a little bit about globalization and multinational companies. Okay, so this is it. Bye bye.